Hello everyone, my name is Elle. Welcome. Yes, I have another new wig. This is from HairPlusBase. Thank you HairPlusBase for sending me this wig. I'm not crazy about it. I feel like it looks a little cheaper than some of my other wigs do, and it is a cheaper wig. These are $65 US. Anyway, HairPlusBase did send me this wig for the purpose of talking about it on my channel, so I'm very grateful for that. I just want to be completely honest with you guys and just say that the quality is not as good as other wigs that I have tried, although I do like the color a lot. I just don't like where it sits on me. I feel like it sits weirdly and I don't really like the kind of style. I just feel like it's a little straight and it's a little poofy, and I don't feel like it looks that realistic because it's super shiny. But anyway, in honor of this wig, I thought that I would do a green eyeshadow tutorial. So this is the look that I came up with. It's pretty much one of my go-to glam looks. So I thought that I would take you through my easy glam look using green shadow tutorial style. So let's get into it. So I already roughly sculpted out my brows. I haven't put any brow gel or anything in it. I also primed my eye because I always bring a little bit of my eyeshadow primer up into my brows. I feel like brows is such a personal thing. I'm trying to grow mine out. I'm not a person to get brow advice from right now. So the first thing I usually do is put on my face primer. In this case, I'm using the Mercier Blemishless foundation primer just because I like it to sit into my skin a little bit. I'm using this primer because I have one particular nasty little breakout on my face. So I like to put the primer on, and I am going to be using Scotch tape. This is my go-to method. I like to use Scotch tape because I like a really harsh line, and for me it's always been a lot easier since I figured out how it works. You definitely do not have to do it. I know some people just like hold something sharp against their face. Some people put powder down. Some people just go for it and then clean it up with a wipe afterwards. So it really is up to you. The thing that I would suggest is just really looking at your face straight on and seeing where you want the tape to go. It's going to vary. My eyes are not even at all, not even a little bit. They work very differently. One like brow bone's higher than the other. So I kind of have to make each eye work, which tends to look a lot better than trying to make it look even, because then when you look at it, you can really tell that one part's higher than another just because the sides were straight. So I have to kind of look at each eye as its own thing. The good thing about having my brows roughly drawn onto is that I have a good estimate of where I want it to be, and I didn't bring the tape all the way up against the edge of my eye. I left a tiny, tiny little bit of space. That way I can connect my lower lash line to that winged out portion really easily. With that out of the way, I have a little Z palette full of single shadows. Most of these are various shades of green with one exception. These are NYX, Makeup Geek, Clionadh Cosmetics, and Looxi Beauty. So I am not going to be using all of these shades. Really, in my opinion, when I do this look, I need 3 shades. A dark shade, a medium shade, and then a light shade, which I usually tend to choose as a very pale shimmery shade, just because I like to go in with glitter to fix up the half-cut crease and kind of trick the eye a little bit. So I like to go in with shimmer. The outer portion can be shimmer as well. You can do the whole thing in shimmer if you want to. You can do the whole thing in matte if you want to and just skip the glitter entirely. I like to usually have a combination of matte and shimmer going on here. So I always like to start with the darkest color first. So in this case, I am going to use, I believe I'm going to use a Makeup Geek shadow. This is a shadow called Envy. So I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit, and we are going to take Envy and put it on the outer portion of the eye. Envy is a really deep green with shimmer in it, and like I said, it does not have to be a shimmery shadow. It doesn't have to be as dark, as long as there's some contrast there. So with a precise crease brush, I am just gently placing a little bit of Envy on the outer portion. See, the tape is going to do the work for me, and a little bit lower as well, just so that when I take the tape off later and I go in with foundation before I finish the rest of my eye, I know where I want to connect to. I don't want to take it all the way down and follow the tape, because then I would have it down too low. So you can definitely take the shadow all the way to the inner corner if you want to. I'm going to be using a different shadow for that. So I just want to make sure that this is as blended as I want it to be. Now I'm not taking it up too high. I do have a very limited amount of lid space, but I like to blend as I go. And instead of going with too many transition shades, or really any in this kind of case, I just like to use the shadow and the brush to blend itself. And then I can go back in with a clean brush later and blend out more. I just find if I go in with too many crease shades, transition shades, I lose a lot of space just trying to blend everything to have that beautiful effect. If you have a lot of lid space, you may want to throw in a couple of transition shades, whatever you like. This is just my method and how I do it. And I like to keep a little bit of space up at the top so that I can highlight my brow bone area. The problem I have with matching the two eyes is that this brow bone definitely sits a little bit lower than this one. So sometimes I end up bringing this shadow a little bit lower. So then I'm trying to keep the shape as even as possible. Then just with a clean, fluffy brush, just running over the top of it, top of the shadow. The next shadow I'm going to take is this matte shade called Moss, and this is from Looxi Beauty. I think I'm saying that right. When I looked on their website to be Looxi. I heard about them from Lauren May Beauty and from Angelica. I actually used Angelica's code to purchase a few because I wanted to try them out, and they are really good. I was sort of surprised. I wanted to try some indie shadows, and they are really, really good. So using a different little crease brush, I am taking that matte shade Moss and I am blending it into Envy and taking it all the way to the inner corner of my eye. I'm trying to leave as much lid space blank as I can here, but I am going to be carving out this portion here. We're just going to take it one step at a time. Try not to get ahead of myself. I'm excited to have the wig all ready and to try it on and to hear your guys' thoughts on it. HairPlusBase, their synthetic wigs are a lot cheaper than the ones that I have purchased myself, and the other ones I have. They are about $65 American, but I don't know, maybe it's the color. Maybe it's because it's such a fake looking color that it looks fake. I don't know, maybe I should have gotten a more neutral wig to see what it was really like in comparison to some of the other ones I have, because I don't have a green wig. The most unrealistic color I have is purple, and I really like my dark purple wig that I have. I've worn it a few times and I think it actually looks pretty realistic. So I'm just blending that Moss shade as much as possible, and I am blending it into Envy, but I'm not taking it all the way over. They're blending really, really well together. So I can see on this side, got a little weird coloring wise. I think that has to do with my eyeshadow primer. I don't think I got it as smooth as I wanted it to. So around this stage, it is going to look kind of crazy. I feel like these looks don't really pull together until you have everything done. There's definitely points when I'm doing my makeup where I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. What am I doing? I'm just taking another clean brush just to smooth things out a little bit. I want to get better at filming tutorials and being more comfortable with them because I really enjoy watching them. I just want to do more of them, so I'm hoping this will go well. Alright, so to carve out my crease, I'm going to be using one of the clay pots from Tarte. This is in Camo Cool, and this was sent to me by Susie. Thank you so much, Susie. I'm so excited to use this. I have not used this yet. I was waiting to use it on camera. I'm so excited. I really like this formula. Now, you guys may or may not know that I've kind of stepped back from purchasing from Tarte lately just because of the foundation shade drama. I'm hoping that they will turn their act around. We will see. I haven't written them off entirely, but I've just decided to purchase from other places. If you are looking for a suitable replacement to the Tarte liners, the Vivid Brights cream colors from NYX are a really good option. This is the only green I have, and this is not the kind of green I wanted, so I am going to use the one that Susie sent me. So thank you again, Susie. I like using these kind of pot gel eyeliners instead of concealer because I feel like concealer always creases on me. Always. I can never have concealer on my lids. I always prime with an eyeshadow primer. Concealer is always creasing on me, and this is a method that I found out worked really well for me. I saw it in a Nikki Tutorials tutorial. She used, I think it was actually one from NYX, and I was like, that's a great idea. I'm going to try that and see if it works for me. And yes, that's what I want these pot liners for. So you can decide where you actually want to cut out your crease when you go in with your concealer or gel eyeliner or whatever it is you want to cut out your crease with. I like these liners because they dry down and they're not going to budge on me. So I'm also going to be putting other product on top of it. So I'm trying to be as precise as I possibly can, but it doesn't always work out the way that I want it to. So I'm not worrying about being too perfect on this side because I will be blending that out. But I want to get the crease cut well. I have a very shaky hand and my eyes are a little bit hooded. I'm always holding my eyebrows up. So I like to bring the crease up above my natural crease. Otherwise it would just be hidden. See, when you put other shadow on top of it, you can definitely leave it like that once you blend everything in. See, depending on what you use as a base, I'm using a green because I'm putting a green on top, and I really wanted to have a green base. All right, so for the shimmery green, I am going to use this green right here, and this is from Clionadh Cosmetics, and this is called Gecko's Tail. This was sent to me by Angelica. Thank you, Angelica, if you are watching. I'm very excited. I've used this a couple times, but I'm excited to you do this in a whole all green look. I did spray a little bit of Fix Plus because I wanted the intensity to be sharp. And I'm loving how this is layering on top of the green. And again, I'm not worrying about being too precise into Envy, but I'm covering the entire bit of the eyeliner as my base. So I'm trying to cover this as smoothly as possible, but my hand is so shaky that it's not even, it's not perfect, which is why we're going to trick the eye in a minute with glitter liner. But you could definitely keep it like this. Once you blend the edges out here, you don't have to add in the glitter, but I'll show you how the glitter tricks the eye. You can see that this eye turned out much better than this eye. I think that's because I was talking, but we can full. Oh, I'm going to take a little bit of the matte shade, I think this is Moss, in between Gecko's Tail and Envy, just to blend the shades together. That's why I wasn't so concerned about being precise, because I was going to use that same shade that I ran through the inner portion of my crease to blend out those edges. Okay, so now to trick the eye, I'm going to use glitter liner, and this is one of the Urban Decay Heavy Metal glitter liners. This is the shade Pyro. So Urban Decay doesn't have a green. I really wish that they did. I didn't want something like Distortion. That would be a little too weird. I didn't want gold, so I thought that Pyro is a little bit iridescent, but not too much. So what I'm doing is taking just the brush that comes with the liner, and I'm going to be lining all the way to the end of where I carved out the crease. So not all the way to the end, but just to that spot where I stopped with the gel liner, and I'm just dragging it. I'm dragging it out and blending it that way. I'm not picking up any more product on my brush. I am just starting from the inner corner and blending that glitter so it sort of fades out. What I find that does is trick the eye into thinking that the cut crease is a little bit more straight. So this is pretty much it for the eye. Alright, so I want to put on some lashes, but first we're going to take the tape off. Alright, so the lash glue is probably almost ready, but while I wait, I'm going to take a little bit of the Becca under eye corrector. This is my favorite brush for using with the under eye corrector, and I am actually using it a little bit to help make sure that the shadow line is pretty straight. And then because I do have a little bit of green going on, I could adjust my mirror there, because I do have a little bit of green going on. I just find that color correcting means I don't have to use concealer, or I use a lot less concealer. So I'm just using lashes that fan out. I'm not sure the style of this anymore. I think they might be Allure lashes. I found them on Ulta. I know there's a lot of styles like this where it's short in the inner and then they fan out to be much larger on the outside. Nothing groundbreaking there. The reason why I like lashes like that with this style is because it follows the winged out shadow. So it just helps to emphasize it, as opposed to lashes that might be a little bit shorter or even a little bit wispier. I find like lashes like this are just dramatic enough without being too overpowering. I will take a little bit of black liner too to help with the inner portion, and I do need to put a little bit of mascara on. I had a little leftover mascara from the day, but it wasn't a whole lot. So I find like lashes really kind of tie the whole thing together. Once I have lashes on, I can kind of see if there's anywhere that needs maybe a little bit of help. Taking another clean brush. I will use a highlighter shade. I think I'm going to use that NYX Glass Slipper one that's in that palette that I showed at the beginning. But first I'm going to use a little bit of foundation. I recently repurchased my MAC Mineralize Moisture foundation. I wear the shade NW13. If anybody was curious, occasionally I get questions about what foundation shade I wear, and that's just the shade that I find works the best for me once I blend. I always have foundation lips. Doesn't bother me. This is a fairly light coverage foundation too. I just wanted to wear something that was a good color match for me and that I can trust. And I like the idea of having a very shimmery face. You can keep hearing my earrings move. Since this is right in front of me, I'm going to use this. This is the L'Oreal True Match Anti-Fatigue Illuminating Concealer. I'm definitely using way too much concealer, but I just feel like my under eye circles are really, really dark tonight. I'm lightly going to powder my face. I normally don't powder, but this foundation is a little tacky, so I do want to powder. Okay, so we'll jump back into the eyes because they are only going to take a second to finish. So the first thing I'm going to do is take a little bit of this iridescent shade called Glass Slipper, and I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my brow bone. And I like to blend out my brow bone color with my finger for some reason. I just like the way that it blends everything. It's not very luminescent, this shade. I was going to use this as a lid shade and then change my mind, so I might put something else on instead. This might have been better as a lid shade, not quite as a, what was I saying, not quite as a highlight shade. So I'm going to take a little bit of Moss, which is the same color I used, that matte shade, and just really lightly on my lower lash line, connecting it to the outer portion, Envy. I'm just going to take a little tiny bit of Envy, that outer corner shade, and really smudge it up very close to my lash line, focusing on the outer portion of my eye. Oh, I am being very clumsy tonight. I feel very nervous, but I just have to get over it. I think I just need to do this, post it, realize the world isn't going to end, and just keep getting better. Because really there's no way that I can get better at doing stuff like this unless I do it. I just have to keep pushing myself. So it's just a lot of light blending because I don't want my under eye area to be too dark. But I happen to like a darker under eye area, like when it comes to liner and stuff. I'm going to use a little mint liner on my waterline. I think that'll help open my eyes a little bit more. I do need to use a little bit of just black mascara. This is a little MAC sample. And I'm going to attempt to put a little bit of mascara on my bottom lashes. Then with a liquid liner, I am not lining my eye, not the whole eye, just the inner portion. That way it connects to the lash band so it doesn't look as obvious. I mean, I'm definitely wearing false eyelashes, but it just makes it a little bit more seamless. So this is most of the face done. I just need to do bronzer, contour, highlight stuff, and that usually takes no time at all. And then I just need my favorite highlighter brush, and I'm going to use the Anastasia Aurora Glow Kit, shade Helia, because it's green. And I'm going to take a little bit of that same green highlighter. And we are pretty much done except for lipstick. So because the eyes are fairly dramatic and cool toned, I wanted to go with a nude. So I am using a Really Me from MAC. Very nice cool toned nude. One last thing, I think I just want a little tiny bit of brow gel. Alright, so I just put a little bit of brow gel on. Now I am going to pop the wig on and I will be right back. Alright, so here is the wig on. I stand by my earlier assessment that this wig looks fake compared to the other ones I have. I'm trying to like part it a little differently. I haven't done anything to it to make it stay. I feel like it sits a little weirdly on my head, but I like the general color of it. I like the vibe of it. I feel like I could probably get some use out of this in one way or another. I might try to do something to it, like I said, with dry shampoo, or just look up a couple of methods for making the wig look a little bit more realistic. But I like the contrast. So do a little spin. I think it works really well with the eye makeup. I feel like this is a look, and I really like it. I definitely like the combination. I just am not super crazy about this wig. I don't know if I would really recommend it. I feel like I need to try more. It just doesn't seem to sit very well in my head, and I need to play with it. You know, there's certain wig brands I've tried and I've purchased from before. I don't know if I would purchase from this one again. So just want to give you my complete honest opinion. Let me know what you think. If there's any other kind of look you would like to see me do while wearing this wig besides green, make sure to let me know. And if you liked this video and you would like to see more like this, please also let me know. Alright, so that is everything for me. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.